Hello, marry me. I want to review a tarot deck I just got, and it is Tarot of the Night by Richard Shadowfox, and it's by Schiffer. Comes in this oversized box, the front, the back, and the sides. Now, uh, of course, these big boxes, they do feel very nice and deluxe, and it has this little thing you can open it with and such, and that is nice. I like that. However, I have two negative things to say about decks that comes in these kinds of boxes. One is they are so oversized that there is a problem fitting them on shelves. Of course, it is probably okay for those that just open it up, take the deck out, put that in a bag, and put the book that it comes with in a shelf. And just discards the box. However, I like to keep my decks in the box, keep my banks, and then it sort of gets cumbersome. Another thing is that decks in boxes like this tend to very easily get worn. And I mean, I only have this for a little while, and you can see there we have some damage. There we have some damage, and all of these are from shipping and from light wear. And I mean, I am careful with my stuff. But let's dig in. You open it like this with this little ribbon, and I like that. That's a very nice touch. I think there's magnets so somebody keeps it closed. And there's ribbons on the side here. And this is how the kit is presented. So, as usual, when I review something, let's start by looking at the book. It has this nice, if you hold it the right way and not upside down, this nice book. And yeah. So, it begins with a dedication, of course. And it has the tarot cards. The major arcana, the minor arcana, basically some information on both of those. And it has swords, wands, cups, pentacles, court cards, basically about the court cards in general. Swords, wands, cups, and pentacles. Then we have tarot spreads, the tree card, the Celtic cross. Because, like I said, if you make a tarot deck and your little your little white booklet does not contain the Celtic cross, you'll be shocked. And the Vincent Omina Veritas, which is nice. I do really like it when these books contain spreads that you can't find everywhere else, because really, I don't need more descriptions of how to do the Celtic cross. Now, of course, if it is the very, very first deck you ever buy, I can see that why somebody would want the Celtic cross. But you can find the Celtic cross on the internet, you can find the Celtic cross in every tarot book. And generally, this kit is probably very unlikely to be somebody's first deck. But I'm not complaining. And we have some about doing the readings with that layout that is for this deck. And I like that. It's a layout designed for this deck, so it's a new layout that you can't find anywhere else. And we have afterwards, that's called when all said and done. So, let's look at how much information is there about each card. Well, information about the cards are written like this. Now, I have to say one thing. I hate the format of the book. These basically books that know what they remind me of, those old photo album type books. You could go to a photography store and they would put your pictures in these kinds of books. And yeah, And that's nice for photos when you have all the photo there and you have a bit of room for text and such. And this is Auntie Olga and her pooch on the beach. However, when you're going to read a book like that, it's just cumbersome because you have to go like this. It's just cumbersome. But anyway, you have a picture of the card. You have the information about it in the upright position and reverse. So you have a good, you have half a page there too. So you have a good 1.5 to 2 pages of information on each card, which is good. That's, and I'll show you also the minor incarna. And I do like that they have that there so it's easy to search. And I do like how the books are worded. Um, it's a decent read. I just don't like the format. So yeah, here we have the Three of Wands. And you can see it has the same format. That is something I like. Very often in various forms of books, you have a lot of information on the major arcana, and then you have this tiny little blurb about. I mean, a lot of information about the major arcana, and then a tiny little blurb about the minor arcana. There's a point; those cards are extremely important too. I mean, there's far more of them in the reading. It's yes, the major arcana signifies greater changes, but that doesn't mean that the minor arcana isn't as important. So you have both of the same information with basically 2.5 and basically 1.5 to 2 pages. So let me also show you these layouts. And I also like that they have some information on the court cards, basically, about how court cards can be read, all of that. And where are you, layout? VIP card, the Celtic Cross, nobody cares. Where is the one? Special one. Yes, I know people care about the Celtic Cross, and I'm not hating on the Celtic Cross. I do like the Celtic Cross. There we have it. The Vincit Omnia Veritas. It's a pretty large layout, and I do really like it. It's not as huge as, for example, the night layout in the Less Vampires deck. So it's not a tarot deck, but Oracle card deck. But it's still pretty good. So, do I like the book with this? Well, it is, some decks come with books that are basically books in and of themselves. You could have taken the set apart and sold the book as a tarot book. It's just sort of geared towards that deck. And then you have those that are glorified little white booklets. This one is a glorified little white booklet, but it's a very glorified one. It will give you all you need to read the tarot, other than, well, time and practice. So yeah, could this be sold in a book as a book on and of itself? No. It is a white booklet. However, it's a very, very good one. So I'm very pleased with it. But now, I haven't gone on for almost 10 minutes just about the book. Let's have a look at the cards, shall we? We'll get this out of the box. Doesn't always want to do that. Come on. Oh, come on. So, yeah. Commercial. Here's. We are all pleased so far, aren't we? Yes. Here's where people might be turned off from this deck. It's computer graphics. We have the Fool, the Magician, and you can see this is all computer graphics just looks at pictures from a computer game. So I'm not gonna show you all the cards in the deck because then we will be here until tomorrow, but yeah. So do I like these images? Well, it's sort of unique. I mean, I like computer games. And I mean, it's some of these have um, pretty decent. I do like the Lovers card. Yes, symbolism. It's basically based on the Raider White and then just expanded upon. So I won't call it a classical Rider White type deck. So I wouldn't use it for example, the 11 lessons of you find in Modern Magic or something like that. But I mean, Chariot I do not like. I mean, it doesn't get the point at all. Strength I do not like. Hermit is good, but yeah, I mean, the cards are a bit hit or miss, but all in all, they get the symbolism across most of the cards do. However, I do think a lot of people will have a problem with the art style because, I mean, this isn't like somebody has used the computer to basically like something like paint or they can draw the images and that's it, computer drawn. This is done with some sort of 3D generator, and it looks like not just a computer game, but a cheap computer game. I mean, it looks like a half decent game from the PlayStation 2 generation. And yeah, I mean, reading with this, I feel like I'm trying to tell fortunes with World of Warcraft, or rather, a cheaper version of World of Warcraft, World of Cheapcraft. So yeah, it is not a pretty deck whatsoever. I have seen computer generated images used in decks that are beautiful, and I can definitely see that. You can do good things with something like a 3D thing, like basically you make your own 3D images type program. This isn't it. It looks like a budget computer game or a PlayStation 2 game. But of course, if that is your thing, then the symbolism are for the most part uh, it's okay. Now I should also say that the symbolism is simple. I would therefore this might be a good beginner deck because the symbolism is there, but it is at the same time very simplified. The imagery is Gothic. It looks like a Castlevania game. I guess that's what the deck reminds me of the most. It's a Castlevania game. And yeah, I love Castlevania, so I sort of like the deck, but I can definitely see how people might have an issue with it. The graphic style is not very well done, and I would have been more tolerant of it if it had been self-published. Because I can definitely see the appeal of a self-published deck. Basically, somebody who has been sitting at their computers for hours generating these images, then printed it through Lulu or something like that. I mean, that would be pretty cool, but this has a big publishing house behind it, and it just feels amateurish. So yeah, also the dark imagery do make sure that it's not a deck for everyone. It's not a deck that you can read for everybody with either, because not everybody who comes to have a reading would like to see vampires and ghosts and skulls. So yeah, I love that kind of thing. So it also have a bit of the tendency for darker decks to mess up the Sun card. But the Sun is supposed to be the second most fortunate card in the deck. It's supposed to signify new beginnings, success, a bright future, goody things. This is the Sun. Yeah. I have the same problem with a lot of vampire-based decks, where the Sun, of course, comes up and destroys our critters. And yeah, it doesn't really feel happy here. I guess it's a sunrise, you have the new beginnings parts, but yeah, but this isn't something that's for this deck in particular. It's very typical of many Gothic based decks. But yeah, it has nice simple symbolism. It's definitely readable. It's not horrible, but it has that computer graphics that some people will have a problem with. I sort of like it, like I said, because I'm a huge sucker for horror games. So yeah, on one end I think it's ugly. On the other hand, it sort of reminds me of all those great times flowing through Castlevania and all of those things. So yeah, we should talk about the card stock. It is quite good. It has a very nice glossy finish. The cards are nice and thick. These will last you for quite some time. These are the backs of the cards, which I find extremely boring. Um, on that, what can I say about them? Well, they are a little bit bigger than your typical tarot cards, so if you have problems, okay, these new cards are less difficult, but yeah. If you have a problem with shuffling, then as you can see, they can be a bit. They are relatively big. They are more. They are not quite as big as your typical divination deck, so oracle card deck, but they are bigger than the usual tarot. So yeah, here's a great example for what I mean. This looks like something that's created in Second Life. I've seen a lot of Second Life avatars that look exactly like this. So if you fancy a Gothic Second Life generated, basically a Gothic tarot deck with images generated by Second Life, then Tarot of the Night will have you covered. If you like those PlayStation 2 type action adventure horror games, this will have you covered. If you're not too fond of computer graphics or think that the cards I show you are very ugly, there might be better Gothic themed decks out there. So yeah, that is basically my review. The book is very nice. The cards have great quality, but the images, it's, I guess, amateurish is what I can say. The symbolism is okay. I'm definitely going to use it, but it's not the greatest deck I've seen. I'm going to give this deck 5 out of 10. Now, do remember, for me, that does not mean it's bad. 5 out of 10 means average, and that is what I feel this deck is. If any of these teams, basically, if it appeals to you, then it might be worth more. I love those types of games that the deck reminds me of. So I like the art, even if it's ugly. But if that isn't something a thing for you, then you might want to look elsewhere. That is my review of Tarot of the Night by Richard Shadowfox and published by Schiffer. Hope you have a great day and blessed be.